I met Joan in the fall of 1993. We were both graduate students in the program here at McMaster, which was human biodynamics at the time. She was someone who had tremendous potential. She had come to Mac from Laurier, where she won the Governor General's Gold Medal for the most outstanding undergraduate student. And she'd shown an interest in working with kids, and that's why her faculty supervisor was Joe Glimke.
So I think we'd had one or two official meetings, in the early part of the term to discuss courses that she might take and potential thesis topics that she might want to pursue later on. I was asleep at home, and I got a phone call from Dr. Lee, who was chairman of the graduate program at that time. Tim relayed to me what had happened in a very calm, collected sort of way, so he gave me all the detail he had received at that time. The shock and pall that was over the department with, the graduate students, obviously, because they knew her, and they knew her a lot better than most of the faculty members did. And even the faculty and staff, everyone was just walking, it was just doom and gloom, as it should have been. It was such a horrific event.
At the time, I was working as a research assistant in the motor behavior labs at McMaster. She struck me as a person that was the absolute epitome of what a graduate student should be. I mean, she was smart, she was brilliant, she had an amazing work ethic, and she had this amazing ability to make people feel comfortable. I just couldn't believe that something like that could happen in general, and more specifically, was amazed that something like that would happen to Joan.
One of those surreal things that you don't ever forget. It was like, it's like, this isn't happening. It just didn't seem possible.
She was in my grad class actually that fall, so I got to know her quite well, and she was a lovely, vibrant young lady. We had a class of only about 6 or 7 students, so it was, very, very tight. That this happened so suddenly and so out of the blue just really shocked everybody.
Just several years following Joan's passing, and I was in graduate school. We were just starting the Kinesiology Graduate Body, and something that became very apparent to all of us in the program who understood the story behind Joan's passing was that it was very quickly becoming part of history, and in fact, we noticed that even within just a few years, there were many people who didn't even know the story. And so, as the Kinesiology Graduate Body was developing, we thought this was an opportunity to do something in Joan's memory, something that would be able to, we could celebrate her life with, but also continue to raise awareness around the issue of domestic violence. We had incorporated into the Constitution that every year we would have a charity hockey game, something where professors and students in kinesiology could get together, have a fun evening, all in memory of Joan.
After Joan's death, I believe her family worked with McMaster to come up with the idea of a Heimbecker scholarship. And I know a lot of us in the Department of Kinesiology contributed as well.
It's really evolved into this event that I think reflects a lot of the great things about kinesiology. It's an athletic event, which most people who are in kin on some level or another like exercise and physical activity. This is an event that really unites undergraduate students, graduate students, staff, faculty in friendly competition, and it goes for a good cause.
The bigger issue to me, I think, is that it's important just to flag and promote this anti-violence issue, and philosophically that this is just wrong, and violence against women wrong. The attitude that someone can have that presumes they have control over someone else's life and can take life on a whim is wrong. And the more you can bang that message home to people, I think that bigger philosophical level, I think the better the world is going to be.
Having been the Heimbecker Cup rep for the last 2 years, I had a great experience, an opportunity to organize and run the event. And the more and more I had the opportunity to work with the event, I was able to learn a bit more about Joan and her story. And I think that this was a great opportunity for us to take some information from some of the the previous professors that were around during the time of Joan's death, and that had firsthand experience with the entire event. And it allows us to educate those who are a little bit less aware of Joan's story and what happened.
We've had fun both attending and playing in the game. Now it's an honor to help plan the event.
The event's grown so much in the past, and the passion from the KGB has increased as well. And both of us would like to see that continue into the future.
My hope is that when people attend the game or they play in the game, that they're not just there to sit in the stands or to step out onto the ice for just some other hockey game, but they're there to make a stance against domestic violence.
I think it's really important that we continue this scholarship as long as we can, because, you know, people, as generations move on, you hear the name, the Heimbecker Cup, but people have no idea what it means. And sure, we have Joan's picture down in the mezzanine, but again, if you don't take the time to really understand who she was, it becomes meaningless.
I will tell you right now that one of the proudest accomplishments I've ever had since I got into this business was being the very first winner of the Heimbecker Scholarship in 1995.
In my mind, I think the hockey game is secondary. I think this is an opportunity for kinesiology as a small entity and the university as a larger entity to make a statement to the broader community that we recognize that that abuse against women is prevalent in our society, prevalent on campus, and it's something that we're not going to stand around and let happen.
Like good people and like kinesiology students forever, we always try to make the best out of a bad thing. Financially, monetarily, being able to direct something back into the social services community for victims of family violence, I think is an outstanding legacy, and it's something that Joan would have been very, very proud of.